So the U.S. keeps lying about undocumented people being violent criminals, even if the data shows otherwise now. There's this article that came out by the Cato Institute, and it's titled 65% of people taken by ICE had no convictions, and 93% had no violent convictions. And in the same article, they provided this graph that's titled ICE detains very few serious public safety threats. And by that graph, we can see that only about 7% of those detained committed violent crimes. And to begin with, it irritates me because anybody that knows an undocumented person knows that the majority of them are good people. Like, yes, in every group there's gonna be bad people, but especially with the data now, like, you can't even say that the majority of undocumented people are violent criminals. And it's heartbreaking because for us to come to the realization that these people are not violent criminals, they had to go through suffering. They had to be separated from their families. They had to go back to a country that maybe they never really knew if they were brought here as little children. Or even for those that came, usually they were raised up until like early adulthood, so they spent their childhood and early adulthood perhaps in the country of birth, but they've been here in the United States for very long periods of time, maybe 10, 20 years plus. So it's really difficult trying to get back on your 2 feet in the country of origin because maybe everything has changed already. And I mean, the fact that a lot of undocumented people are fleeing because they want better opportunities, it's going to be hard for them to find good economic opportunities, education opportunities, etc. in their home country if the reason that they were fleeing is because there was a lack of that in their home country. And we can get into how the U.S. can like also contribute to the lack of opportunities in people's home countries and stuff, but that's a conversation for another day. And so it's just frustrating for us to have to get these statistics in such a way that brings people suffering and torture. But now we have these statistics, so we should do something with them, all right? And I think that the United States could maybe do good on their promise of trying to find violent criminals and actually go find them in places that they would be. And I mean, I'm sure there's many places to look into, but I would consider college campuses to be one of them. So yeah, let's stop focusing on undocumented people because they're not the real criminals, all right? And I say college campuses in particular because, I mean, I just graduated from Cornell University, and so I know that there be crime out here in colleges. Like they would have these emails sent out, and they would be like crime alerts. And I mean, it was crazy because usually, like in a given year, there would be like at least 2 to 3 of those alerts that would come on, and it would be like about a crime alert about sexual assault or rape or something like related. And then there would be like many more that would be about like people stealing, like robbery alerts and arson. I don't know why. Like, what are college students doing? Like, what in the world? They would just be burning up carpets in the dorm rooms. And I think we should focus on sexual assault to begin with because, I mean, that's just a horrible thing to go through to begin with. And, I mean, I'm going to show y'all, like, the emails that I would get, and then after we can talk about the statistics because it is a real big problem in our nation that we should be addressing more. So to begin with, there's this one from February 9, 2022. So that was my first year in college. And it reads, on February 23rd, 2022, a female student reported to a university official that an unknown male intentionally touched her in a sexual manner on 2 separate occasions while they were swimming laps in the Helen Newman pool. And Helen Newman is one of the gyms at Cornell University. These incidents occurred during the early morning hours of February 9, 2022. The male is described as a white male in his mid to late 50s with shorter gray hair and so on. So this is a white man, maybe a professor or something like that. I don't know, but that's creepy and that's weird. And I mean, in this case, it's not a Latino man. So where's the outrage? Where is the outrage when a female gets sexually assaulted by someone that is not a Latino man? Where's the outrage? And then a month after that, I get another email saying that the Cornell University police received a complaint of a sexual assault that occurred on March 17, 2022 at approximately 1 a.m. and the reported assault took place between Ridgewood Road and the 100 block of Thurston Avenue, and the victim reports that she was sexually assaulted by an unknown suspect. And then in November 6, 2022, a individual reported to Cornell University that they were sexually assaulted around the same place, actually. And again, an ongoing investigation. There's this one from December 1st, 2023. Another report of a sexual assault. The victim reported that she was between Ganendigo Hall and Toni Morrison Hall, which are dorm rooms in North Campus where primarily first-year students are held. And this happened at approximately 5 p.m. on December 1st, 2023, when 4 males approached her. One of the males put his hand over his face and touched the victim's private body parts without consent, and the group then fled in an unknown direction. The suspect is described as a college-age male wearing a backpack. No additional information is available. So there's that. And then I also got this one from November 8, 2024. The University Police, again, another sexual assault report. The victim reported the incident occurred on October 25th, 2024, or during the early morning hours of October 26, 2024, in the 100 block of Edgemoor Lane in the city of Ithaca. The victim reported it being sexually assaulted by several males and coerced into consuming ketamine and other drugs. The fraternity where this incident occurred has been temporarily suspended, effectively immediately. So a fraternity. Yeah. Yep. And I have also received crime alerts regarding rape specifically. So on Thursday, December 2nd, 2021, a female student reported to a university official that she was incapacitated and raped by an unknown person at an unknown location, possibly between 2:30 a.m. and 9 a.m. on Sunday, November 14, 2021. The complainant reports that while walking on Thurston Avenue, she fell and was picked up by an unknown male. The complainant reports the male may have had blondish colored hair and was possibly driving a gray car. So, blondish colored hair, most likely not a Latino. Where's the outrage? Where is the outrage? Then another one on Thursday, September 14, 2023. A victim reported to a university official that she was forcibly raped by an unknown person in an unknown residence hall sometime on September 14, 2023. The victim described the suspect as a male, 6 feet tall, and weighing approximately 160 pounds. The victim was able to escape after kicking the suspect. There's also this one related. It was a crime alert regarding drug-laced drinks. At approximately 4:30 p.m., Cornell University Police has been made aware of at least 4 incidents occurring between the dates of September 24, 2022 and November 3rd, 2022, in which students reported to have consumed little to no alcohol at an off-campus location but became incapacitated while attending parties. The individual reported they were exposed to roofies. And I mean, this might have been off campus, but I mean, Ithaca, New York, that's very much predominantly white. So again, if it's not a Latino man, or maybe a man of color, like a black man, there's no outrage. There's no outrage. It's only an outrage when it's a colored man. That's literally all it is. But when it's a white man, or possibly a white man, there doesn't seem to be outrage. Especially on campuses like these where it's like elite institutions, Ivy League institutions. There doesn't seem to be an outrage about it. Like, what's going on? What's going on? And it's like, no shade or anything like that to Cornell University. Like, I'm very grateful for the opportunities and everything that I've been able to gain over there. And there's some really good people over there. But we gotta be real. Like, I mean, it's still happening. Cornell University and every other university or college around the nation, like, there's a real problem. And the thing is that sexual abuse is such a prevalent issue. It's such a big problem. It really is. And, I mean, it's a problem not just in the nation, but in the world. So why not try to really tackle it? You know what I'm saying? Like, for college situations regarding sexual abuse in particular, we can look at statistics from the National Sexual Violence Resource Center that say that 1 in 5 women and 1 in 16 men are sexually assaulted while in college. More than 90% of sexual assaults go unreported, and nearly 2/3 of college students experience sexual harassment. Among college women, 9 out of 10 victims of rape and sexual assault know their offender. So there's that. And then we also got information from a source called brain.org, and it states that most sexual assaults are not reported to the police. So more than 2 out of 3 sexual assaults never get reported, and only 20% of female college students report to police, and only 25 out of every 1,000 rapists end up in prison. That's 2.5%. So that's crazy. And then we can also talk about how even when rapists actually get, a sentence, it's usually just a little slap on the wrist. It really is. And then for people that are rich, that people got money, they could just get out of it with money. So it's really not, it's not fair. And we really got to do something about it. Yeah, we should do something. I mean, as a culture, we should maybe figure out why women are not coming forth and talking about it. Maybe we should talk about how there's so much hypersexualization in our culture and try to change that as a culture. But when it comes to like the administration and stuff, maybe they can enforce better punishments once victims come forth and these criminals are convicted. And I don't know, but honestly, Donald Trump doesn't even want to talk about the Epstein file. So in reality, like, it's like, what can I say? What can I say? I hope that people change their mind, though. We gotta pray a lot so that God can change people's hearts and make people realize that these types of things are important. Yes, let's talk about the Epstein files, and then let's talk about this too, so that we can redirect our focus on the things that actually matter and not be out here acting like undocumented people are the real criminals when there's others that are legit criminals and we know, and we're not even doing anything about it. Like, come on, yo. So yeah, as usual, there's a lot to talk about, but that's just a little bit of what I can say. And yeah, I mean, the United States, this administration in general, we need to prioritize things better. And the administration really just needs to get its story right, its narrative, and its facts right, because they're still lying to the people when there's data out there showing that undocumented people are not violent criminals. And then there's stuff out there showing things like Epstein, being a violent criminal. And yet, you know what I'm saying, we don't even want to bring up the files and stuff, like, and we don't actually want to direct resources to the real criminals. So let's just do better, alright? But anyways, I hope that y'all have a good day, alright? I'll see you.